It's time for World of the Night. With Zapagalis. Hello again, kings, queens, knights, and peasants, to another episode of World of the Night. Today we are going to be gathering resources for our next build, which I'm going to actually make kind of fancy. I got a design I developed for it that, personally, I think looks really good. I'm sure others will disagree, but hey, my world. Alright, I'm gonna do a quick 101 on how to repair tools. There's two ways to repair tools. You can either go into your basic crafting grid and place two items of the same type, and you'll get the durability of both tools plus 5%. However, you will lose any enchantments that are on the tools. The second way to repair tools is through an anvil, but anvils are very expensive. They take 3 iron blocks and 4 iron ingots, so that's 31 pieces of iron. Usually not something I build early game, but those shovels I got are actually pretty good. Now, with the anvil, you can repair stuff and keep the enchantments. There's two ways to do it. You can either place a material that the tool was made out of, in this case iron, and you'll get 25% repair for each iron put in it. However, if you remember right, shovels don't take that much iron to make in the first place. So the best way to do it, a piece of armor, that's a good way to repair. But for tools, it's actually better simply to go to your crafting table, create an extra copy of tools. So now instead of having to use 4 blocks of iron, I'll only use 1. Get a shovel with 100% durability. And fuse it into my enchantment one. Now, one thing to remember is it costs levels to do the repairs on an anvil. So, now I'd like to point out that anvils over time wear out. Each time you use it, it has a random chance of progressing to the next stage of damage. This one's already progressed to slightly damaged from 2 uses. So as I said, anvils are expensive, and you do not know how long they're going to last. Okay, so the first thing we need is sand. Now this is a boring collection process, so I figured I'd just do a fast forward time lapse and talk a little bit while it's going. Now sand is a gravity affected block. That means it falls when you take out the block underneath it. It is also a very useful block used in many crafting recipes such as concrete, glass, and a few others I can't really think of right now. But it is probably one of the few resources you will need in a mass amounts that does not have a way to auto farm it. So it's kind of a pain, but collect it as you can. The best place to find sand is the desert. But if you can't find a desert, it's pretty common on the edge of rivers and especially on the edge of oceans where it makes a beach. Alright, so I got a few extra seconds, so I'm gonna throw this in here. Please remember to leave a like on the video, and if you want to see more, hit the subscribe button. And I would love to see my comments become active and love to get more viewers. Thank you. So the next thing we need is gravel. Now gravel is another gravity affected block, and it's often found underground when you're mining. It's very common up in mountain areas, and you can find it on river shores. When you're digging it out with a regular shovel, you have a 10% chance to get flint instead of gravel. If you use a Fortune 3 shovel, you'll have a 100% chance to get flint, while if you use a Silk Touch shovel, you have 0% chance to get flint. Okay, now we need flowers. Flowers are often used for decoration or making dyes. There's multiple ways to get flowers. One way is to just run around your world and collecting them from the ground. That is very time consuming and not recommended. The second way is if you bone meal grass, flowers will grow depending on what biome you're in. And the final way is if you take a flower and you bone meal a single flower, more of its kind will grow around it. But if you bone meal a double flower, such as rosebush, it will spray out more flowers of its type. And all three of those ways is demonstrated in this time lapse. Now, the easiest way to pick the flowers up in mass amounts off the ground is simply dump a bucket of water down, and the water will flush all the flowers into whatever direction it's going. Then you can just run over them and pick them up. Alright, so I'm upset at my recording software. Half the things I recorded for this episode, it did not do. So, one of the things I did was put together a very quick, very simple sheep farm to collect some wool. All I need is red and orange wool at the moment. So this thing is made simply by putting an observer looking at a grass block, redstone to power that observer, redstone to take power from the observer, and going into a dispenser. Now every time a sheep eats the grass, it grows wool. But when the grass block updates to a dirt block, it triggers the observer, which triggers the dispenser, which will shear the sheep to collect the wool. Then it is picked up by a simple minecart system, which is just a minecart with hopper running back and forth, and drops it all in a chest below. So this will provide me with an infinite amount of orange and red wool. I'll do a more detailed explanation when I expand this to the 16 color sheep farm. It's time for fetch the stick. I stayed up all night last night trying to remember if I have amnesia or insomnia. I have a condition that makes me eat when I can't sleep. It's called insomnia. Some people don't sleep because they have insomnia. I can't sleep because I have internet connection. What idiot called it insomnia and not resisting a rest? Insomnia sufferers. Look on the bright side. Only 3 more sleeps till Christmas. For sincere advice and the correct time, call any number at random after 3 a.m. I will not sleep until I find a cure for my insomnia. Okay, so now we are actually ready to do stuff. We're going to take all these flowers we collected, lots of this gravel, and let's drop off these extra things. Okay, so lots of this gravel. I'm not sure how much we'll really need. I don't think we're actually going to need that much. Then an equal amount of sand. Okay, with that, now we got sand and gravel and flowers. You know what I'm making yet? If your guess was concrete powder, you are correct. Let's see, we are going to need a little more than that. I'm not exactly sure how much the stuff makes with each go, so I'm just kind of being patient and cautious. There we go. No! Oh well. Didn't mean to turn all those flowers into dye right away, but it is what it is. So now we have some concrete powder. With that, we are gonna build one more little machine. This is the simplest machine you'll ever see. Basically, to make it, snag some cobblestone. And a bucket of water. Okay, so the machine we are making is just a very simple concrete converter. Okay. As I said, this thing's very simple and quick to build. Basically just put a thing of water running down with a space in front of it and then a few blocks above it. Now to convert concrete, simply aim as high as you can and place blocks. As you know, concrete powder is what you first make, and it is a gravity-affected block. However, whenever concrete powder has water touching it from any side, it'll turn into concrete blocks, which can be mined. So by building this little machine, we can collect them just a little bit easier. Still not going to say it's the most efficient thing in the world, but hey. And I know you can cast concrete in place. This concrete farm can be more efficient simply by adding a piston and observer with a little bit of redstone. What you do is set the piston up to automatically push the concrete out when the observer detects a block update, such as concrete powder turning into concrete. Now, you would also need to use the amazing redstone circuit to prevent the piston from constantly firing and updating the observer itself. While another player is on the bottom mining it out. Unfortunately, I don't have another player. So this is just going to be time-consuming resource collecting. Okay, so that is all of our concrete. Let's do a real quick check on the farms. Here we have a sugarcane farm, which has already grown us 38 sugarcane. Again, this would be highly improved rates if I were to box stuff out, so the sugarcane doesn't get launched over the top. The tree farm, as I said, is actually a waste of resources that I did not realize when I built it. Oak trees are the easiest to grow in large amounts because they're the only tree that can grow right next to each other without blocking growth of the other one. I need an axe that's not going to break. Axe. Now, oak trees are probably the easiest ones to grow in a large amount because... Okay. Now, if you're like me, you hate giant oaks. They are big, they're very obnoxious to farm, and everything about them is just irritating. So, I have a special way to deal with them. I cut down all the logs that are easy to get, which means within reach without having to dig or anything. Then, I get blown up by a creeper. Okay. No, I really hate just how much stuff scatters when that happens. Okay, so as I was saying, cut down all the logs that are easy to reach, and then set the whole tree on fire. The flames will burn off all leaves and logs that are hovering in air without you having to climb up and try to figure out how to do it. Just make sure you don't have anything flammable you care about in the area. But there's a much easier way to take care of the giant oaks than trying to climb up there and find all the logs. Now this fire is being extremely efficient. But yeah, you may have like one log left over depending on how the fire burns, but that's not common. But as you can see, tree is taken care of. Well, thank you for watching. I'm going to end the episode here because I need to run out to get a copy of the Shape's favorite newspaper, the Wall Street Journal. Thank you for watching, and keep on rocking Knights of the Bedrock. One more thing before we go. Please remember to hit that like and subscribe button to help out with the channel if you want to keep seeing more videos more often. And if you would like to chat with me or Blade Z, join the Gamers Video Network. The Gamers Video Network on Discord. There'll be a link in the description. And then don't forget to check out Blade Z's channel. Thank you and have a good one.